Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. Kaka, mimi kile ambacho kinani crucify each and every time is speaking the reality without sugarcoating anything. I have trained myself to tell you the truth because when things will shift, I will remain at a place where I'm able to defend myself. That is why I always don't move with the crowd. I think independently. Now, we have the new government of national unity. You've been asking me, Kaka, where or which is the future for the Gen Zs? Future yao ni gani? The political class have regrouped. Where do the Gen Zs stand? I have said this severally. And of course today, I will repeat it. Can you watch this video before we proceed?
We as the Gen Z movement have the following demands. With the above in mind, we hereby make these following demands. 1. That the office of the president immediately issues a status report to Kenyans on the state of investigations of the 60 killings of our comrades in the recent protests. 2. That the office of the president immediately confirms and shares with the public the official number, names, and details of comrades killed in the recent protests. 3. That the office of the president immediately directs all relevant institutions, including but not limited to IPOA, IAU, DCI, and ODPP, to collect evidence in the next 7 days of police excesses shared by Kenyans, particularly the Gen Zs on social media. Comrade Power.
Power.
That the office of the president immediately calls for the suspension of all officers highlighted in the social media using excessive force pending finalization of investigations. Comrade Power.
Power.
That once investigations are complete, the office of the president immediately causes the arrest and charging in court of all rogue police officers for the murder and assault of protesters and journalists. Comrades, Power.
Power.
6. That the office of the president further calls for the resignation of officers in command, including OCSs of areas where killings were reported. Comrades, Power.
Power. Resign.
Last but not least, our 7th demand is that the office of the president immediately issues stern warnings against any officer who will be found using excessive force in dealing with peaceful protesters. Comrades, Power.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Kasmuel speaking alongside other Gen Zs who have been in the forefront fighting for justice and fighting for democracy of this country. From that press conference, there are things I want us to discuss. After discussing them, we will conclude and be able to see the future of the Gen Zs. If you remember very well, I want now to take you back down to memory lane. When maandamano started, there was one demand: withdraw the finance bill. That was the only demand that was available among the Gen Zs. The finance bill is punitive, withdraw it. It was withdrawn. After the finance bill was withdrawn, the Gen Zs again regrouped and now brought in several demands. But they singled out one: Ruto and all his government must go. That was the demand. Ruto must go. Occupy, occupy, occupy. Ruto must go. Ruto and his cabinet must go. Ruto and his parastatals must go. Ruto and his PSS must go. Ruto and they must go. We want an overhaul. That was the demand. From this press statement, the stand that Ruto must go has now shifted. Hata kama unisikiza vizuri. The Ruto must go demand from the Gen Zs is now changing to Ruto must do A, B, C, D. So, from this press, the Gen Zs are acknowledging, not me, ni wao wamejisemea. They are acknowledging that yes, Ruto is the president and they can't go. Instead of him going, let him do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as they have said. Sijui kama uliwapata vizuri. Wao ndio wamejisemea. Wale wamekuwa wakisema Ruto must go, wao tena ndio wamekuja sasa. Najua tumekuwa na faceless Gen Zs. Now they are having faces. They are now having leadership. Wanasema hivi, Ruto must go is now a thing of the past. From them, wao ndio wamejisemea, sio kaka. Mimi ningesema bila wao, mungesema nimelipwa nitetee Ruto, si ndio? Mungesema hivyo. But do you remember what I told you? Niliwaambia mapema, mkashindwa kujipanga. Mimi niliwaambia mapema sana, nikawaambia if Ruto goes, what next? Mkasema kaka amelipwa, oh kaka wants to join government, oh. Mimi kazi yangu ni kuambia ukweli ulioko kwa ground. Niliwaambia Raila ODM itaingia serikali. Mkasema oh kaka wewe sijui ni nini. It has happened. Nikawaambia hawa Gen Zs ni sawa mnasema Ruto must go, lakini akienda what next? Nikawasomea mpaka katiba ya Kenya. Nikawaambia if Ruto decides to go, tutakuwa na shida kubwa hata kuliko wakati yuko ofisi. Mkasema kaka ni kama umerambishwa kitu. Umerambishwa ururu. Umerambishwa. Nikasema ni sawa. Nyinyi semeni. But it's now coming out in public. The Gen Zs themselves speaking. Now, from this press, what is the way forward? As I advised that time, I again advise this time. The reality stands. Ruto is here to stay. Staki ni wadanganye. Ruto is here to stay. Nisikiza vizuri. When Ruto is here to stay until 2027, Raila Odinga is coming in to give him another term until 2032. Those are facts. I'll be here to remind you. Mimi nitakuwa hapa kuwakumbusha kwa sababu sitoki na nitakuwa hapa. Vile niliwakumbusha mwaka jana, nimewakumbusha mwaka huu, tena nitawakumbusha next year. Mimi hakuna mtu amenilipa, lakini vizuri niwaambie ukweli, msiseme sikuwaambia. Gen Z sasa wamesema let Ruto stay. Wakati wamesema let Ruto stay, now they want changes in government. And the only thing Gen Zs can succeed to do, if we remain with the spirit we heard, we can succeed in doing massive changes in government under William Ruto and Raila Odinga. That's the truth. Because, unajua, kuna vitu zingine ambavyo sisi wa Kenya, and this is what is killing our country. Even in the church, believers want pastors to preach what they want to hear. Wakenya hawataki uambie wacheni usherati. Wakenya hawataki uambie wacheni wizi. Wakenya hawataki uambie wacheni kuiba, wacheni uchawi, okoka. Wakenya wanataka uambie utapata magari, anasema mina. Utapokea nyumba kubwa, wanasema mina. Unimaginary miracles which can never happen. So, kuna subscribers wangu ambao wamekuwa wakitaka niwaambie lazima Ruto atatoka. Ni sawa, Ruto must go, it's okay. I have also used that before. But then, what is the future of this? The Gen Zs had no clear replacement for William Ruto. Tulikuwa tunasema Ruto must go, but we never had a replacement. We never had a clear vision. If Ruto goes, we will do 1, 2, 3, 4. We were just saying blindly, Ruto must go. Now, from this press, from the Gen Zs, it's now clear that Gen Zs have agreed to the government of national unity. Mupende musipende. Si mimi nimesema, Gen Zs have themselves, through their forefront, in quotes, leaders, have now accepted a government of national unity. But under that government of national unity, they have given demands. 1, the 60 people were killed, accountability patikane, compensation ipewe familia. Umesikia akisema Ruto to warn the police officers against using excessive force on protesters. Sasa, Gen Z, maandamano musiwache. Mimi ninawaomba, musiwache maandamano tafadhali. Kwa nini? Maandamano yameleta reforms kubwa katika taifa la Kenya. The only language a government understands is maandamano. Kwanzia leo, nyinyi jipange. Wakati mnaona kuna kitu kibaya kwa serikali, mimi nitakuwa na nyinyi katika opposition. Let the Gen Zs take over as the official opposition of the Republic of Kenya. Now, tuingie hapo, tuweke serikali katika mkondo wake. Let's now come back and be kaka, mimi nitakuwa hapa and I'm not moving. I'll be here as an opposition. I'll be here as an opposition. Na sasa Gen Zs, kujeni. Let us be here. Ukiona kuna kitu kibaya kwa serikali, itisha presa, tuongee. Wakishindwa kufanya, tunaenda kwa street, because that is the only language they understand. Tukisema Ruto must do ABCD as the president, akikataa, tunaenda kwa street mpaka hicho kitu kinafanyika. That is the only way we can rescue this country. Let us now remain vigilant in keeping this government in check. Tusiwapatie nafasi tafadhali. Gen Z ikikufa, Kenya itakufa. Gen Z ikinyamaza, Kenya itanyamaza. Tafadhali, tuweke nguvu katika kupiga kelele. Tuweke nguvu katika kuzungumza. Tuweke nguvu katika kuambia serikali, hapo ni kubaya, hapo ni kuzuri, hapo ni kubaya, hapo ni sawa. Tusonge mbele. Ladies and gentlemen, keep subscribing and keep watching my content. I wish you the very best. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next video. Asanteni sana.